So you may have heard Toyota is going to bring back the FJ Cruiser to the United States. No, you're not going to get an FJ Cruiser in the United States. And today I'm going to explain why.
Yeah, baby!
So for a while now, Toyota has been teasing Americans, saying the FJ Cruiser is coming back, but in truth, it's not going to come back. This Lexus GX 460 is a short wheelbase Land Cruiser. It is on the same platform as the old FJ Cruiser, and the reason why the new FJ Cruiser will not be a thing in the United States is that short wheelbase that I just mentioned. Unfortunately, in the United States of America, there is a bizarre obsession or connection with the larger the vehicle, the more money you can get for it. In other words, American consumers are not used to paying more for a short wheelbase vehicle. They're used to paying less for something small and more for something big. That's why the new Lexus GX 550 doesn't have this 109-inch wheelbase of this GX 460. It has a larger 112-inch wheelbase in order for Toyota to sell more of those vehicles, because the consumer is always going to associate longer, bigger vehicle with more price. All 4x4 manufacturers have a hard time selling short wheelbase vehicles. The absolute best 4x4 off-roader is the two-door Jeep Wrangler, but that is a low seller. What is the top seller for Jeep? It's the four-door long wheelbase four-door Jeep Wrangler. That wheelbase on that four-door Jeep Wrangler is longer than this Lexus GX 460. I remember when that four-door Jeep came out, it looked like a stretch limo, it looked like a clown car. It looked so ridiculous because they strayed so far away from what an off-roading vehicle should be, that short wheelbase for that breakover angle, and they went super long and stretched. It looked ridiculous, and it sold like crazy. And long wheelbase 4x4 selling like crazy is bad news for people who want a genuine optimal off-roader with a short wheelbase. And that's exactly what the old FJ Cruiser was. People didn't get it, they didn't buy it. They said the same thing they say now. Why would I pay that much for that little tiny Toyota? I could get a Chevy Suburban over here that's 10 times as longer for the same price. Again, that four-door Wrangler is always going to outsell that better for off-roading two-door Wrangler. So since Americans will not pay more for smaller, the only way we're going to get an FJ Cruiser in the United States is if it's heavily stripped down to account for that profit margin that's going to be lost, or it's a pretend FJ Cruiser or a Mick FJ Cruiser where it's got the same 112-inch wheelbase as a full-size Land Cruiser, and it's just got an FJ sticker package, and it's just an FJ in name only. Now, there is another route Toyota could go. They could do shenanigans and shamrock us all and make the new FJ Cruiser a unibody design in the same way Ford made their Ford Bronco Sport a unibody design. Basically put the FJ Cruiser on the RAV4 platform, same hybrid engine, and it's basically a so-called soft roader. Now, the rumor mill online is completely rumors. It's AI. All this stuff needs to be taken with a grain of salt. But this source here speculates that it's not going to be on the TNGAF platform, but the third world IMVO platform that this El Cheapo Hilux Champ truck is for sale in Thailand. So if the new FJ is on this platform, it's certainly not coming to America. But if we're talking about a true FJ Cruiser, the whole point of why they made an FJ Cruiser with a tiny wheelbase, that is very unlikely to happen. You can't imagine that thing, this small Toyota, sitting on the lot going for $70,000, and it's this tiny, and then there's a Land Cruiser next to it for $70,000. Which one is the consumer going to take? Sure, the hardcore or genuine off-road enthusiast will get it, that short wheelbase is better all around for off-roading. But just like the two-door Wrangler that we're seeing less and less and less of year after year, generation after generation, the numbers don't add up. The math doesn't add up. The social equation of Americans and bigness is just part of the culture. It's part of the society. It's part of the economy. So it's in Toyota's best interest to do what works here in America, and that is bigger, not smaller. So if we get a FJ, and that is a big if, it's going to be just a Land Cruiser with the words FJ in front of the words Cruiser and some different design language decals and other assorted nonsense. It's going to take a revolution in American thinking to get back to the old school short wheelbase 4x4s. Jeep, Toyota, whoever, it doesn't matter. They keep getting bigger. They keep getting further and further away from that original short wheelbase Jeep that could go anywhere off-road. And they just keep getting longer, which means the tires need to get bigger to compensate, and it just turns into monster truck nonsense. So for now, if you want to get the most capable off-roader with the shortest wheelbase available in America that's made by Toyota, you gotta get an old FJ Cruiser.